Hello everybody and welcome to the Fridge Gaming News. I'm your host Mr. 6507 and this week was a big week for the big three in consoles. Sony just introduced a video that hints at the PS4 Orbis that may be announced on February 20th due to the date at the end of the video. For a recap of what the Orbis is supposed to have, it's supposed to have an octo-core processor and 4 GB of RAM running at a marvelous 130 gigabytes per second. If you want to see the video and not what's going on behind me, check the links in the description. Sony also just trademarked the service called BigFest. Speculation says that it could be a new social service close to what PlayStation Home is. Now the trademark was filed on February 6th last year, but it took until January 1st to get it published, which means that it might be related to PlayStation 4. Lists in the trademark for what it may be for are hosting of facilities for online play, hosting websites of others for video and computer games, and for hosting computer games created by others on an easy platform. Personally, it sounds more like a gaming convention name to me, but it also sounds like it could be a fight against Steam, like with the new website they just launched, and somehow they're going to tie it all in. Also stated in the trademark, it is for introducing gamers to other gamers and allowing them to play and host multiplayer games. Does it sound like Steam yet to you? Finally, BigFest.com has also been registered and right now sends you to the PlayStation UK website for choosing your language. In Microsoft news, Microsoft is discontinuing their XNA development toolkit. Now the reason behind this is the speculation is that Xbox and Microsoft want to eliminate the indie game service. Microsoft hopes to completely eliminate support for XNA by April 1st, 2014. This is the definition of irony, as it is April Fool's Day, and many of the games that come out on Xbox Live Indie service are jokes in themselves. Many of the good game creators, such as the creators of Fez, are complaining about this over Twitter and are begging Microsoft not to discontinue support. Now, it seems that the ball would be in Unity's court, because Unity is the main competitor to XNA at the moment. Unlike Microsoft, Nintendo is supporting their devs though. The development for portables in the United States has drastically fallen in comparison to that of Japan's. Therefore, Nintendo will support all American devs, giving them support in whatever they need. This is an attempt to push out many more third-party games for the 3DS, which has a very small library for it to begin with. Also in Nintendo news, Nintendo is not planning any price cuts for the Wii U within the next few months. This is because Nintendo says that they have learned from what they did with the 3DS, and they will never do it again. What happened with the 3DS was that they decided that they were going to cut the price when the sales began to drop. Well, this caused the 3DS to actually cost more to make it than they were selling it for, so they weren't making any profit like they wanted to. Clearly this makes sense anyway because the Nintendo Wii U is fairly cheap in comparison to what the launch prices of the Microsoft consoles and Sony consoles will be based off of what this current gen of consoles was. According to Gabe Newell, Apple is the biggest threat to Steam right now. Now Apple is gaining a large share of the market, and Gaben is very concerned about the Steam box. If Apple makes a push towards living room computing, the market can be very spread out, and all of a sudden people won't know what to buy. Gabe Newell's other fear is he thinks that Apple can roll the console guys very easily. Gabe's main concern with this though isn't that the market will be too spread out between too many consoles next year. It's the fact that through iTunes, Apple has figured out syndication, and they haven't pushed it out yet and realized if we take iTunes and put it to gaming consoles, we could take over the world. Also in Gabe Newell news, he will be hosting a keynote discussion with J.J. Abrams at D.I.C.E Summit this year. J.J. Abrams, if you didn't know, is the new director of the Star Wars franchise and is also the director of Star Trek. Now this is at D.I.C.E Summit, and if you didn't know what D.I.C.E Summit is, D.I.C.E stands for Design, Innovate, Communicate, and Entertain. D.I.C.E Summit is a convention where gaming executives get together and talk about what they've been doing and what they can do and all of that crazy developer stuff that they want to talk about. The discussion will be named Storytelling Across Platforms. Who benefits most? the audience or the player? Also, in this J.J. Abrams, Gabe Newell setup, there has been an announcement. Star Wars Episode 3 is no longer canon and shall be put into new development as to write a new one. The speculated date for when the new movie will come out is sometime after Half-Life Episode 3. And finally, with the last depressing news, THQ's president said THQ was doomed to bankruptcy even before he got there. He blames THQ's debt on the fact that THQ had too much of a focus on kids games, U-Draw, and unpublished MMOs that cost way too much money to develop on their own. Now the reason why he says this is that it's out of his hand only because he wasn't there yet. He was still a lowly executive on the ladder. That's it for this episode of the Fridge Gaming News, guys. But remember, stay cool with the fridge.